Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in to your Week 11 of college football. Is that right? Week 10. Week 10 of college football? No, it's Week 10.
Yeah.
Oh, double-digit weeks of college football. Can you believe it?
BYU's reached their second bye week.
Oh, yeah. Some teams in the Big 12.
That's how deep we are in the season.
What is it? Kansas State and Iowa State played over in Ireland. They're working on bye week number 3 of the season. You get 3 bye weeks if you play across the pond. That's a new unlocked. That's a new unlocked thing. I think that's actually like what, now that they're almost employees of the school's like and by the way, you get 3 weeks of paid vacation when you go across and play in Europe. Okay, that's part of your package that you get as an employee. Listen. I'm going to say it right now, and I just got a text from one of my friends who's a listener to the program, but also he's kind of my hockey guide. I cheat off of his homework constantly, all right? And I've needed it this weekend. And one of the things that makes me nervous, and I told him this because he actually texted me this right before the show. He says, this is hockey guy Matt, by the way. Matt goes, a lot of national love for the Mammoth today. Even the podcast in Canada I listen to are talking about him. That's nerve-wracking.
That's tough to get the attention of people that are obsessed with the Leafs.
I know, and I told him, I said, that makes me nervous. He said, we're not used to it, neither are the players. So I'm full on like in this mode where I'm trying to pretend like I've got the blinders up with the hockey team, all right? I've got all sorts of crazy stuff, and It's weird. It's weird to think that you can have a team who's having this much success, and the Mammoth right now are the only other 8-win team in the world of hockey besides the New Jersey or the is it New Jersey?
Yeah, the New Jersey Devils have an 8-game win streak.
The Devils are an 8-game win streak, but they started off with a loss on the season. They've won 8 now in a row. The Mammoth have won 7 in a row. It's not just that they've won 7 in a row, it's that they are shocking people on how they're doing it. Every game, Logan Cooley has 2 or 3 goals, and he has them in the first 5 minutes of the game. That's what I've learned so far. I mean, it's just been absolutely wild what they've done. So the crazy thing is, what are you gonna do the next now that they've played 10 games? They've played 10 games, JJ.
Yes.
And they're 8-2 on the season.
That's a unsustainable clip of winning.
It is an unsustainable clip. They have also beaten very good teams along the way so far.
Which is why their streak's more impressive than the Devils.
It is.
They've beat Colorado. They beat St. Louis. They beat Minnesota. And they now have beaten Winnipeg.
Those last 3 all on the road.
Correct. And
Those
guess
last
who they play
3
Tuesday night?
Do they have to play Colorado again?
Oh, no.
Oh, I was going to say. No, is it Vegas?
They're in Edmonton.
Oh.
They're taking on the Oilers. Another big test.
Oh, my goodness.
In Edmonton to finish the trip.
It's fun while it lasted. To see how fans work. Well, that was cool.
Well, that's what I thought about the Winnipeg game. I was like, man, that's a great win in Minnesota.
You can't
so
keep
there's
this
just
going.
no way they're going to get Winnipeg. So, it's been a good run. And they go into Winnipeg in one of the rowdiest barns, not the biggest barn, and they pull out a win against a team that led the West in points last year. Has the Vezina winner in net.
Okay.
They were awesome.
I know this is a Kalani Sitake thing.
They battled them the whole way. It was awesome.
I know this is a Kalani Sitake thing, but how is Coach Bear going to be humble and hungry this week? Because that's what it is. Because that's what he kind of does. He shows up at the show and he does this, I'm consistent and I don't get too high or too low about things. I'm Bear. You're like, get out of here. I don't need to hear. I want the Bear tourney that is flashy. Give me Flashy Bear.
No. His job is to be Bear. Our job is to overreact. And you as fans, it's your job to enjoy what you're witnessing right now because you are spoiled rotten.
For sure. Right now you are.
You've had a team for just a little over a year, and you're looking at the standings, and your Utah Mammoth are tied for the best record in the NHL.
It's early.
You just got this team. You are spoiled.
It's early. However, I will say this. You're almost 15% into the season.
It's early, but
that's crazy.
This is significant.
It's bonkers.
You're almost a fifth of the way to 100 points.
These are the dumbest stats I've ever heard.
And we're still in October.
You're 13.5% through the season.
We're still in October, and they have 16 points. It's significant.
Our producer Alex is like, we're talking way too much hockey.
This is
early.
a road-heavy part of the schedule, and it's going to be all the way into December. This team is playing a tough part of their schedule and killing it. Wait till the end of the year.
Hey, by the way, the Utah Jazz firing it up tonight at home across the street at Delta Center.
I like this team.
It has not been tough to watch.
I like this team.
I know it's only been a couple games.
I love that game in Sacramento.
It was a defensive battle, and they almost won it. All right. We got lots to get through today. It is a Monday edition of the program. Yes, we are in October still. It's the final week of October, if you can freaking believe it. Here we are. Let's jump in right here, the top of the program. The cut is where we usually start things off. That's what we're going to do again on a Monday, so let's jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program, TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement, TrajanWealth.com. JJ, lots to go over from over the weekend. And now, in the spirit of how we do this and just kind of with how things go, we split up during the weekends. JJ had his TV duties. I stay in the radio world, which is where I belong. And I will tell you, I'm tickled with how things went over the weekend for the teams here locally, Utah State being the lone kind of, I don't know how we're supposed to react to that. However, if you are looking, and I was listening to the radio post game of Greg Wrubell and Hans Olsen, and Greg Wrubell kind of, I think, had the right to sort of say it as flippantly as he did. Was like, hey, Bear's going to get another Freshman of the Week honor from the Big 12. That's, but the question is he going to get the Offensive Player of the week? And the answer is no on both accounts. Why? Because a guy named Bird Ficklin had a pretty darn good week, and he's also a freshman. The Big 12, and this isn't because Bear didn't do enough. The Big 12 has been begging for another freshman to show up and make a splash. Am I wrong?
Bueller.
They were so sick of calling his number. It had nothing to do with whether or not Bear had a great weekend, which he did. It had nothing to do with whether or not he had an outstanding performance, which he did.
I can't even name another freshman starting in the Big 12 outside
besides
of Bear.
those two.
And now Bird obviously getting a shot on Saturday.
This was the conference offices in Irving, Texas going, can we freaking get somebody else? And then they went, yes, okay, I got someone for you. Late on Saturday night. That was the only reason. Because BYU stays undefeated. Weirdly, I have no idea what to think about that 8-0 start, except for that they are 8-0. They are 8-0 again after going 8-0 last year when we all looked at each other and went, don't know what to think about this. There was a quarterback last year in Jake Retzlaff that you went, I don't know how this guy's pulling this off. In a weird way, JJ, is Bear more consistent than Jake Retzlaff has been?
Yes, 100%.
Like, is it a more impressive thing what he's doing this year, not just because of the freshman part, but because of the actual performance part? Because Jake Retzlaff last year was pulling all of these same – he took this team to 8-0. He took them to heights that they hadn't seen in a long time. So am I actually supposed to be more impressed with what Bear is doing this year than with what Jake Retzlaff did last year?
Yes, 100%, because, A, he's a freshman. And the lack of experience. If you remember, Jake Retzlaff got a chance to play the last 4 games of his sophomore year. And how did that go?
0-4.
Now, that's a distant memory. It's a distant memory.
Right.
BYU fans are like, what are you talking about? I don't even remember that. Did he? Because I checks notes. we're 19-2 in our last 21 games. Yeah. So Jake Retzloff had to go through a period of learning, growth,
Right.
gaining experience at the Power 4 level. Bear Bachmeier, he didn't have that chance. And he was thrown into the fire this year.
Yeah.
And he has been unbelievable. When you consider the circumstances, if Bear was a senior quarterback and he'd been playing 3 years and he had these type of stats and production, you'd be like, yeah, that's okay. He's getting the job done. When you consider he's a true freshman who transferred here, didn't even get spring ball, and he's doing what he's doing for this team and leading comeback after comeback after comeback, how can you not be blown away by what he's doing? And he's leading. This is not just a freshman getting the job done. Mm-hmm. He's leading by the way he plays on the field. I'm seeing it. They believe in him. You see him on the sidelines, the way he carries himself, the way he walks over the sideline when he sits down after a touchdown. Like, they are fired up to play for this dude. Everything they talked about during camp, you're like, really? That's crazy. Like, they see it, like everybody just knew. But then you've watched the season play out, and you watch how he handles himself on the sideline and how they play with him and they talk about him. Yeah, he's just a true freshman, but he's a 6'2", 235-pound dude who just makes play after play after play, calm as a cucumber. Never too high, never too low. Taking it back to the Bear Turney reference. You got to have a quarterback that's like that, but he has to make plays, and he's making plays when it matters the most. Rallying a team from a deficit, never panicking, never cracking under the pressure, not making bad turnovers. Was there ever a moment in that game against Iowa State where you're like, man, Bear doesn't have it, or I'm really worried? Like, no. He was solid and steady throughout. The early deficit was some defensive misassignments and things like that. They finally got the offense going, and sure enough, the defense fixed those issues, and instead of allowing big plays, they made big plays. And it completely flipped the game on its head. But throughout all of it, Bear in that offense was steady, and with the help of a pick six on the defensive side and some other turnovers, they put up 41 points. They outscored Iowa State 31-3 after falling behind 24-10. You have to be a really good team to be able to do something like that. And BYU is a really good team. They deserve their top 10 ranking.
Tied with Miami, by the way.
I fail to recognize Miami as the number 10 team in the country.
Like you forgot, or you will not?
No, I just refuse. I am taking a stand.
Oh, my goodness.
You can only have one top 10 team.
So
number 10 team, and it is BYU.
Am I missing something? Did they have a turnover at all against Iowa State?
No.
BYU
right?
at all?
No.
So they forced 3 interceptions. The one, it was at the end.
Iowa State turned the ball over 4 times.
Right.
They lost a fumble, and they had 3 interceptions.
So the muff punt,
special teams
gaff
was a big play.
Hilarious. And it also, like, I want to go, okay, that kid someone needs to get with him and explain to him how things work, and someone needs to yell poison a little bit louder.
Well, he needs help from his teammates. It's not all on him.
Right.
That's a team mistake.
But also, that's a high IQ play, right? From a special teams guy who goes, I'm going to keep pushing this guy into where the ball is. Like that.
They're coached to do that.
You have to. Look, I get it. It looks
Papinga
weird.
Does a great job with that.
Right. It's weird to try to pull a guy onto a ball. That always looks weird, right?
Yeah.
You can't, like, you've seen teams try to do that, and then you're like, all right, settle down. That's not really a thing. But just pushing a guy to where he'll end up stepping on the ball himself, which is what he did, or kicked it. That's a crazy play. Satuala redeeming himself after that first gaffe, which I'm watching Eskelson at the very first play of the game going, this is a strange setup here because it looks like, oh boy, they're bringing the corner pressure. Yeah. And then Satuala bites on the double move by a guy who's older than him, by a guy who knows the game a little bit better than he does, and he learned in that moment, right? Like, he got eaten up.
Well, Sly talked about it last night on KSL Sports Live. Satuala is essentially supposed to bait him into, and then Tanner Wall's supposed to rotate over.
Everyone stayed underneath. Everyone stayed underneath. Nobody over the top.
He bit a little too long, and then you saw how it worked. So it's funny how sometimes we don't know the scheme or understand how things happen the way they do. Someone's going to get blamed for it, and that's okay. But it was a big mistake to start
Yep.
the game.
Yeah,
Whether whoever's fault it was, whoever's assignment that was, or how that was supposed to work, it was a big mistake. And there were. How nervous were you, BYU fans? How nervous were you yesterday? Are we at the point now where it's like BYU down 14? Oh, perfect. Let's go.
It is weird. It's not a fun place to be at, to always be trying to figure out how to come from behind.
But they seem pretty comfortable in it.
Yeah, let's listen to some sound here. Kalani was talking about the slow start, and I know they've got a bye this week, but they still were able to jump in a little bit and get with the media and talk about what this has been like. And here's what Kalani said about being able to overcome that slow start against Iowa State.
This is a really good team, so we were fortunate to quiet the storm that happened and then try to stack plays on plays. And I felt like once we started doing that, getting momentum, the guys started seeing it and started to create some momentum on our sideline, the energy, and the rest worked out in our favor.
Bear Bachmeier talking about adapting that offense. Now, if you're a freshman quarterback and the number one yards from scrimmage guy in your conference and your number one rusher in the conference goes out, and I don't know what LJ Martin's status is going to be long term. It's probably not great. You're glad you have a bye week, but a bye week will probably get back a Jack Kelly who's not feeling great at the very end of that game and went out, and you're kind of going ooh. But a bye week might not get you back a LJ Martin that went down with a hanging shoulder. Who knows what that is? A broken collarbone, whatever it might be. I don't know if they've mentioned exactly.
There was no sling on it, so that's positive.
I guess, but he came right out, right? It was like not done for the day.
Yeah,
done.
It was not where he tried to come back in and see if he could go. It was
and it looked innocuous enough. Like
it really
he just went off the sideline, and you're like, ooh. But here's what Bear talked about with having to figure things out after LJ went out of that game.
Yeah, I lost a key component of our offense. I mean, number 4 is, just a straight-up dog. So, yeah, we adapted and, kind of threw it around the yard a little more and let Preston get some carries. So, I thought we adapted really well, and, yeah, I thought we were successful with that.
That's a tough one because – and Kalani said it going into the half. He's like, we got to throw the ball up more. And that's a weird thing to say when you got that freshman quarterback who you've been relying on to go for 191 a game, and a touchdown.
This is not what – anyone thought would happen during the season with Bear Bachmeier.
Had to do it, but did it against West Virginia, which I think Annapolis. Didn't we talk about that in our pregame or in our College Football Saturday show? We're like, yeah, I threw for 362 yards against the worst passing defense in the country, but to do it coming back against Iowa State in an environment that is very different than being in Provo and playing against a very different team than West Virginia. And throwing for 300 plus and running for another 50 and running for the signature draw play that you get every week from the guy now from 15 or 18 yards out, and he runs into the end zone and stacks bodies while he's doing it, but throws the ball now and keeps himself out of danger. Now, when he threw that ball up to Parker Kingston, I think everybody looked and went, oh boy, okay, all right. Now, by the way, if you watch that play, he could have thrown it up in the air to Chase Roberts, and Chase Roberts was even more open.
Yeah.
And
Iowa State's secondary is very banged up. They took advantage of it.
And it worked. And the defense showed up. And Rocco Beck kind of shrunk in that moment. Became a very different quarterback than we saw in that very first drive, in the very first throw of the game. And a guy who was commanding that team. By the way, that team was unstoppable the first how many drives? 4, 5, 6 drives. They had 200 and something yards. They had 280 yards by the end of the first quarter, JJ.
Yeah.
They go into the half leading
17 first quarter points.
But the thing was
BYU gave up 17 first quarter
points. Yeah, and 280 yards of total offense in the first quarter. You're like, all right, yeah, give them 1,000 yards. Sure, why not? Give them 1,000 yards on the day. The crazy thing to me was going into the half, still being outgained by 120-something yards, but being down a touchdown was huge. Being down 24-17 rather than...
You're right. The score before the half was
The score before
massive.
the half was huge. And not only that, the field goal that they got even off of the one turnover was huge to make it 17-10 when they had no business being within a touchdown of that team. So you teach your team, hey, just chip away here, all right? And you saw Kalani. Will Farron comes out, hits that 50-yard field goal, and it could have been good from 65, by the way. he goes in and you go, okay. And Kalani, what did he do? His team comes off, and he was as pumped about that field goal as he was anything else in the first half. They needed it. They needed that score before the half. 24-17. No one cares what the disparity on yardage is because then BYU gets the ball first, right? And then what do? They march down the field. They convert some big third downs. And what do they get? A field goal, a lone field goal out of it. They get a field goal out of it. It was nothing special, but it was 27-20 at that point, or 24-20 at that point. Yep. Then they hold Iowa State to a field goal. Then they tie it up, and then you're looking at yourself. And if you're Iowa State and you're the fans at Iowa State, they're all looking at each other, going, "I thought that we were winning this game by a lot, right?" Like it's confusing if you're Iowa State. We're beating this team on all fronts. Why is it tied right now? I think it must have been an absolute shock that a team like BYU was able to stick around. Does that make sense? Like,
oh, yeah.
To me, I think there were a lot of... And then...
Iowa State had a 24-10 lead with 1:52 left in the second quarter. BYU took the lead 27-24, 4:33 left in the third.
It was... okay.
That is... It didn't feel like it, but that is a rapid recovery.
Huge swing. And then you start to get a little fidgety if you're Iowa State. You get fidgety if you're Rocco Beck. You get fidgety and you throw that pick six at the end instead of leading your team down for because then it gets to 34-27 on that crazy touchdown. And then everybody in the stands are looking around going, what happened in this game? What happened to this team?
Iowa State sideline did the same thing.
They collapsed.
They were dead in the fourth quarter. They had nothing.
And Coach Matt Campbell was like, we had no idea how to respond to the adversity. We had no idea. No idea. And here's Kalani talking about Bear and this team being 8-0 at this point because this happened last year. I think a lot of people were shocked. This team is not. No one is shocked by what Bear's doing right now because they've been in the locker room with him long enough to know what kind of a dude he is.
I'm not worried about if we were going to be 8-0 at this moment. I just want us to be at our best. And so far, Bear Bachmeier's improved every week. He's gotten better, and we keep asking him to do more, and he just keeps doing it, and he keeps asking for more. And so let's just give him what he wants. Let's give him to do more for us.
What a wild spot to be in if you're a BYU fan. Because 8-0 at this point in the season, we can all look back and go, what did you say? Where did you say the wins and losses were going to come? We could do the embarrassing thing, go to the bottom of our rundown here and give ourselves a gut check like we do periodically.
Do it. Expose us for being idiots.
JJ, here's what you and I had BYU at.
Haters.
Here's what you and I had BYU at through 8 games. Do we have okay, I will say, full disclosure, this is February. This is pre-Retzlaff being Gonzo, right?
Yeah.
Do we have anything further down the line?
I don't know if we ever recalibrated.
You know what? I'm okay with it. We can eat this crow all day. I don't care. Okay? On February 4th of 2025, you and I had BYU going 10-2 on the season, which I think we looked at even when after this thing went down, we were both like, oh boy, we got to do the re-rank
100%.
here. We went down to 8-7 games. Vegas went down to 7.5, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
So our 10-2 thoughts for BYU went like this. You had BYU winning. Good for you. You had them winning going 7-0. And then losing to Iowa State at Iowa State.
For a half, I was right.
I had them going 6-0, losing to Utah, and then not being able to recover from that game and losing to Iowa State. Why not? We saw them do that last year. They take a loss for the first week that they take a loss, and they take another loss right in a row. And then I had them winning out. I love how we both just cavalierly have them. Again, this is February of this year. This is pre-Texas Tech also dropping the $1 billion on their roster that we had known about. Texas Tech, we had them both winning. You had them losing at home against TCU. That's still not a bad pick necessarily. And then we both are like, ha, Cincinnati, what are they? Are they even a team in the Big 12 anymore? Look where we're at now.
Easy dub, right? Easy dub.
So we have BYU going 10-2. What's crazy is 10-2, still might be a future for BYU.
It might be enough to get in that Big 12 championship game
It could be enough to get them in the Big 12 championship game. It would have been probably enough last year if you beat the right teams. Right now, they're stacking up wins in the category of this team will help you get past this other team in the tiebreaker. Texas Tech and Cincinnati still loom at their stadiums. Iowa State, huge test at their stadium. Huge. And they got it. We thought maybe going 3-0 through that stretch of Arizona, Utah, and Iowa State was crazy.
Great win. Great win for BYU.
All right.
What a story.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go. We've got sound for you. Don't worry, Utah fans. We haven't forgotten about you. We don't. This isn't the KSL BYU Blue station that you've accused JJ of being. How dare you? First of all right. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. We've got tons to talk about from the weekend. More to come. We just have so many things to be able to jam about because right now the teams here locally are winning. It's fun to talk about. Stay here at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And now Peterka steals one in the offensive zone. And he gets blasted by Chibrikov. Gunther shoots and scores! The clutch kid comes through again and puts Utah ahead 3-2 late in the third. And the period comes to a close. Utah hangs on to win 3-2. The final score here in Winnipeg. And it's seventh heaven for the Utah Mammoth. 7 in a row for the Mountain Blue.
You're locked into JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Pretty easy, JJ, to pick the hot and cold theme of today.
Yeah.
Prep for winter. Get a furnace inspection from a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency on your furnace at home. A reminder from the folks at Enbridge Gas. Hot and cold today. Going to feature the folks who have been absolutely fire hot on top of that cold ice. Everybody else just cold against the Utah Mammoth. I don't know what to think because, I mean, it's just been phenomenal to see him. What was the thing we heard we started to get a little bit wild over the first couple of games where you go, well, this team's playing pretty hard, and they've won a couple games, when they were 2-2, we were looking at each other going, they're playing well, ish.
They're struggling to get the puck in the back of the net.
Couldn't score, right? They answer that with a streak of games where they score 5, where they score 4, where they score 7, where they score 6, and then where they beat Winnipeg at home last night with the 3 goals. I say at home, at Winnipeg's home. So the goals did come. The goals have come in the form of Logan Cooley with the natural hat trick, of course. The very next game, he scores 2 goals within the first 4 minutes of the start of the game. And 5 goals over those 2 games. The 16 points that Nick Schmaltz has that leads everybody in the NHL. Now, I'm not talking about the West. He leads everyone in the NHL.
Tied with Jack Eichel for the most points.
Just like you had down. If there was somebody who's going to lead.
We all predicted it.
If somebody's going to lead the NHL in points this early in the season, it was from this Mammoth team. I go, hey, JJ, I see the future. Somebody from this Mammoth team leads the league in points. Schmaltz would have been about the 6th guy you'd pick, right?
He has as many goals as Nate McKinnon.
But you would pick who first? Keller, and then you'd go
Logan Cooley,
maybe
or
Logan
Dylan
Cooley,
Gunther.
Dylan Gunther. And by the way, those guys are showing up and playing their butts off too. JJ Peterka is having a quote unquote slow start. Is he having a slow start though? He's the one who initiated everything that had to do with that goal
100%.
last night. Gunther's game winner came off of JJ Peterka's hustle. And it's phenomenal to watch right now because they've won 8 games so far. And they're doing awesome. They're leading the league right now in points. They're leading the West in wins. And there you are. So if you're talking about a team who's
Plus 13 goal differential.
I mean, they are especially hot right now. And can they keep this going? Can they make sure? Now, I say keep this going. I'm not talking about going 8-2 over the next 10 that they play, because I don't think that that's going to be something that happens. This West is just way too competitive. But can they continue to get hot when they want to weather some of the storms? Because even in the 7-4 win that they had the other night, who was that over
St. Louis.
Over St. Louis.
Yeah, 7 goals in St. Louis.
They were up 4-0 in the first 6 minutes of the game. Now, at some point, it was 5-4. Now, that will get you a little bit nervous. They weathered it. They score another goal. They put another couple on. It ends up being a 7-4 winner. They do the same thing when they went up to Minnesota. They score some quick goals. They were up 3-0 pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
They end up keeping the majority of the middle of that game it gets to 3-2, right? What do? Weather that storm, make sure and just put the foot down, and then they end up scoring 6 goals total. It's just been absolutely fun to watch. Now, do they have the most talented team in this league? Probably not. They have some exceptionally good lines. Those first 2 lines are really good. And right now, the way these guys are playing, everybody is noticing. People notice how good Dylan Guenther is at being a finisher. People see how Logan Cooley is 21 years old and might be one of the best young players in this entire league. People are noticing that this team is just winning, and scoring a bunch of goals. That's not lucky. This isn't lucky stuff, too. Sometimes they'll tell you the puck bounces a funny way. It's been phenomenal to watch. So far, Logan Cooley has been every bit of what we think he was going to be. Pay that man everything he wants. Is that wrong?
Back up the Brinks truck.
Let's go.
Give that dude his bag of cash. He deserves it.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it. But I've just been so impressed. It's so fun to watch when they're really, really good. And the unfortunate thing is they've been doing it all. They've been on the road so far.
That's what's most impressive.
They've turned that corner.
And look, I know it's not like other sports where home ice advantage is such a big deal, but they're in a grind right now. And like second out of a back-to-back to win in Minnesota and turn around and go up to Winnipeg and pull that off in 24-hour period was pretty impressive. You know, we really need to enjoy where they're at right now. Like, enjoy the moment, because this is not going to last. It's not sustainable. Doesn't mean they can't be at the top of the West at some point. But just for fun, I want to play the game of if the playoffs started today, just to give you an idea of how good they're playing right now. If the playoffs started today, they would be the number 1 overall seed in the Western Conference playoffs. They would open up as the 1 seed hosting the Chicago Blackhawks, who right now have that last wild card spot.
This is a terrible practice for us to do right now, this early in the season. I'll play this game, though.
Why? Let's have fun. They might be that last wild card spot in March. Let's enjoy it right now. Guess who wouldn't miss the playoffs?
Are you setting this up so that you could do this with your Broncos later in the show, too?
Maybe.
If the playoffs were to start today.
Maybe. We all want to feel good about ourselves. Look, the team can't do this, but we can.
All right, fine.
So they would be the number 1 overall seed in the West. They would have home ice. They would be hosting the Chicago Blackhawks with a real chance of advancing and moving on. The Edmonton Oilers would not be in the playoffs right now. The Vancouver Canucks would not be in the playoffs right now. The Nashville Predators, the Minnesota Wild, the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, that's why I kind of go.
So while I'm doing 2 things here, I'm enjoying the moment and celebrating this team for where they're at right now, and it's also a little bit of a reality check. There's still a lot of work to be done, and you're looking at the standings. Are the Seattle Kraken going to be the number 2 team in the Pacific Division? Probably not, right? Probably not. But they are right now. Are the Dallas Stars a wild card team this year? Probably not. But they are right now. So there's a lot of work left to do. But Mammoth fans, you are spoiled rotten, as I said in the early segment. Enjoy this moment. This team, no matter where they're going to finish the rest of this year, is special. They are very, very competitive. They're right now playing at a high clip. Now, I would love to see what Bill Armstrong says if he's going to recalibrate are we a top 10 team yet He said on our show, not yet. Not yet.
I don't think he'll recalibrate that until game 82.
Because he's a smart man.
Yeah.
I'm not. I go on the radio and I say outrageous things. So just enjoy the moment, Mammoth fans. Right now, you're number one. That's right. Thank you, Tusky.
7-0 under Tusky. ESPN just did a whole thing and they rolled it out there like, look at this guy. Look at this light blue cotton candy furred animal.
I bet he's delicious.
It's funny that people know that they're mammoth, and yet how many people have gone, why do they have this elephant? He's got this long tusk. I'm like, do you guys realize what mammoth are? I think because the logo has the tusks so prominent, people forget that there's a long friggin' and then his head is a mountain.
It's basically just a giant furry elephant.
It's a giant elephant. Don't call him a furry ever again, all right? Josh Hoover just got pissed somewhere. Did you just accuse me of being? Did you just accuse that animal of being a furry?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, all right. We got to. We're only 49 minutes into the show today. We already have our first furry reference of the day. Can't be the last. Why not? All right, we'll take a break. Come back. We got more to go around the corner. Before I do, Hans and Scotty are going to be tomorrow on the road at The Grill, 2264 South Main Street in Nephi. What is The Grill? It's where you can enjoy some awesome beef right there from Bar W Beef. It's their restaurant. Go check it out. They're going to be there tomorrow, noon to 3. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a much-needed off week for the Cougars as they rest up for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look, I'm never a big fan of the marketing tools that they use to do the fill in the blank for the National Jelly Donut Day or, the pastrami sandwich day. And I fall for it because I'll have a jelly donut in my hand by the end of the day. I'll have a freaking pastrami sandwich in my hand at the end of the day.
Let's go to Friedman's.
Yes, because I am a sucker like that. However, I did look quite sideways at the National Tight End Day that was being celebrated yesterday. Hallmark, you've gone too far.
Who votes on these things?
No.
Is our government wasting taxpayer dollars coming up with silly days?
You know that look that President Trump has when he holds up that thing that he signs? Do you think he signed a national with that signature at the bottom of the thing?
I'm a big fan of tight ends.
I told you this is
I love tight ends.
This is 100% a Hallmark holiday. I've told you this. National Tight End Day. It's been produced by Hallmark so that we could have, and later on, they're going to have some hunk of a tight end in a Hallmark Christmas movie at some point, catching a touchdown on National Tight End Day and then asking some girl who used to be a marketing executive who now owns a small Christmas stand in a small town in Wisconsin to keep her dad's ability to fight a disease available. Not that I've ever watched any of these
watch
movies.
Hallmark movies? What are you doing over there? You know way too much about these things.
I'm telling you.
You've watched a few of those, haven't you?
And I'm this close to not watching them anymore, all right? That's where I'm at right now in my life.
You talk to somebody about that?
The Weekend Warriors are brought to you by Gillette Heating and Air. Right now, get seasonal maintenance done on your furnace for only $59. All you have to do is go to GilletteHVAC.com to make an appointment. Speaking of making an appointment, Tucker Kraft on National Tight End Day made an appointment with the end zone a couple of times.
Snap to Love, quick toss, right side, got Kraft, makes the turn to the 10, breaks the tackle to the 5, he's in the end zone for a touchdown! And the Packers take the lead, 6-3. Tucker Kraft, 16 yards. The snap to Love, rush on, throws the middle, got his man, cutting left to the 5 to the end zone. It is Tucker Kraft having a night. Wow. Touchdown Green Bay. They beat Chuck Clark on a crosser. 24-yard touchdown reception.
Tucker Kraft had a day.
Those coming from Jordan Love, of course. Jordan Love had 20 consecutive completions.
Not a bad night
against the Steelers.
Jordan Rogers. That's the other Rodgers.
You just create the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, I think his brother is named Jordan. The one who was like not very good and who was the Bachelor, I think, or Bachelorette, or one of those. Again.
Sounds like you just made up a player on that.
No, I'm pretty sure that's his brother.
You're right, it is Jordan Rodgers.
So Jordan Love defeats Aaron Rodgers. Aaron's, of course, hosting his former team, and everybody made a thing out of that. But, man, Tucker Kraft had a night, and they had a second half to be able to make sure and get that win. It was huge for them because Green Bay is, like, quietly very, very good. And I say quietly because it's like they're not – I mean, they're not doing the Broncos thing and just blowing out Cowboys left and right. But they are pretty darn good. So you know who else is good? Because they're going to have to go through these guys if they're going to want to win the Super Bowl. Los Indianapolis Colts. Oh, boy. This was the sound you brought from the week? Oh, I was going to say, we've hit a new low. Hold on. What is this when he actually went after the...
This guy's having an incredible year.
Oh.
For the shoe, beat the Titans.
Titans.
Hey, Cam Ward. Woo! This is our team.
Oh, man.
Hey, by the end of the year, you're going to all be doing this. And certainly...
I'm disappointed you didn't say Cam Ward, you blank. You know what I'm referencing.
We should have, you know what? We should have bleeped it out just so we thought that in the song. The Indianapolis Colts continue to be, what are they, 7-1 with their
yes, sir.
with their weirdo owner sitting on the sideline with a headset on.
Hey,
it's working.
She's basically an assistant coach.
She is getting it done, and they are 7-1. This is a really freaking good team right now. You got to believe in the Colts.
They give us to Taylor, cuts off a block, veering to his right, he's at the 10, he's at the 5, he's going to score, you know it, touchdown, I-N-D-Y, Jonathan Taylor with an 18-yard run to Pater. They give it to Taylor, left side, he's at the 20, 25, 30, 50-yard line, still going, Taylor up in the sideline, he's got a chance, 10, 5, touchdown, Jonathan Taylor takes it 80 yards to the house.
What do you have at the Indianapolis Colts? You have a quarterback who's third in yards, second in touchdowns, number one quarterback efficiency, Daniel Jones, just like you had earlier before the
Indiana Jones.
And then what do you have? A running back who's the best in the league. Those are the two people in your backfield. Why would you bet against the Colts right now?
Do you know what their point differential is?
I mean, they're winning every game, it seems like 38
This
to
is one of
15.
the most fascinating stats in the NFL right now.
What are they winning by?
Plus 116.
Dang.
Plus 116. They are not just winning, they are clobbering teams. The next closest team in point differential in the league is the New England Patriots.
How much?
At plus 67.
Well, by the way, another team that you had on the list of probably going to be beating everybody.
Drake
what are they,
May's
6-2? I know, 6-2.
Drake May is legit.
So 116, they played 8 games. So they win every game by more than 2 touchdowns, the Colts do.
They're not just winning, they're obliterating their competition. Only one team came close outside the one that beat them.
What's the old quarterback at what's the old Florida quarterback who was going to take him to Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
His days may be numbered there. Daniel Jones, JJ apologizes. Okay?
I'm sorry.
We didn't give you enough. I mean, I believe in you, but JJ didn't, and I think that we need to set that record.
Let's get out of New York. That's where quarterbacks go to die.
Oh, my heavens. Poor guys. All right. And then finally, the team that had maybe the best weekend in Salt Lake City, they were here, and they wanted to get right, and this game got them right, and Utah's defense showed up against Colorado.
Probably the worst beating I've ever had, except for when my mama whooped me as a kid. 422 yards rushing, you ain't winning. You're not winning. 300 yards, you're not winning. 250, you're not winning. It's not capable. Total offense, 140 yards, you're not winning. You're not winning. They had 587 yards of total offense. You're not winning. With that, special teams gave up a fake punt as well as a block punt. You're not winning. So all 3 phases, we got our butts kicked.
Ouch.
That's a disappointing weekend for Coach Prime. So yeah, they beat him up on the offensive side of the ball, but their defense just. I think they had was it negative 18 yards in the first half when they showed that that graphic up there, and it was 43-0. I actually thought to myself they would probably. I did what I did when I was a kid. I go 43. Okay, they're going to win this game by 86 points. They really could have. They
called off the dogs in the second half. It could have been bad.
It was bad already. It could have been a 77-0 game. Absolutely. So it's nuts. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do return, we've got reactions from college football across the world of college football. How the AP poll has now been sussed out here. This is the first time that this was done in the Big 12 since October of 2022. I'll tell you what that is next, right here, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.